If you have a disability such as dyspraxia, dyslexia or a visual impairment, it's very difficult to have access to good quality practice online materials that can make reasonable adjustments. However, Legal Recruit is designed for busy law students anywhere in the world who have access to a fast internet connection and who want to shine at online testing for law firm applications. Using this online platform, for the first time you can choose to practice tests by increasing the total time permitted for a verbal reasoning test, or increase the text size. Make sure you know what's involved by contacting the Careers Unit and definitely the Learning Support Officer as early on as possible during your assessment period. It's really important to realise that if you have a reading disability or visual impairment, the test administrators and the corporate law firms are obliged to enter into both the letter and spirit of helping you. Once you have all the reasonable adjustments successfully implemented, it's perfectly possible for you to train to become good at these tests. You can read more about this on the Disabilities section in About the Tests of the Legal Recruit website. Dyslexia can be legally recognised as a disability depending on its severity. Therefore, when applicants or candidates are being assessed, the qualified test user should have due regard to the employment provisions of the Disability Discrimination Act 1995 or Equality Act 2010. This makes it unlawful for an employer to treat a disabled person less favourably than a non-disabled person without good reason. If you're dyslexic, you might find it helpful to contact the British Dyslexia Association. They define dyslexia as a combination of abilities and difficulties which affect the learning process in one or more of reading, spelling and writing. Accompanying weaknesses may be identified in areas of speed processing, short-term memory, sequencing, auditory and or visual perception, spoken language and motor skills. It's particularly related to mastering and using written language, which may include alphabetic, numeric and musical notation. In selection for a training contract, an applicant with dyslexia is likely to encounter difficulty with the tests of verbal reasoning, spelling and functional literacy. The law requires that accommodations are made for disabled people, including those with dyslexia, to ensure that the selection process does not disadvantage them. A common modification for individuals with dyslexia is to adjust the timing of the test. However, the amount of extra time required will depend on the way the dyslexia manifests itself, its severity, the test or tests being used, and their relationship to the job requirements. Only a relevant professional can determine what is appropriate. Whether adjustments have been made to standard test procedures or not, careful administration can help ensure that individuals with dyslexia have a fair opportunity to demonstrate their skills. People with dyslexia may have difficulty with test instructions. This can be due to reading difficulties or to a difficulty with short-term memory and or sequencing, which is common with dyslexia. You should also contact your Learning Support Officer or Careers Unit if you have a problem called dyspraxia. Furthermore, a person who is registered or certified blind or partially sighted is automatically regarded as disabled under the Disability Discrimination Act of 1995 and the Equality Act of 2010. The DDA makes it unlawful for an employer to treat a disabled person less favourably than a non-disabled person, and those who provide services must make them accessible to clients with disabilities. When tests are being used in connection with employment, for example in making selection decisions, employers have a duty to make reasonable adjustments so that disabled persons are not placed at a substantial disadvantage. Visual impairment covers a wide range of conditions. Even a person who is registered blind may have some residual vision, for example the ability to discern light from dark, or even quite good acuity within a severely limited field of vision. Partial sight also covers many different types of conditions. These can range from very blurred vision to some loss of areas in the field of vision. For some people, the act of focusing can be hard. This means that reading is difficult and it's necessary to constantly refocus on the next portion of text. Here's what to expect when you do the Legal Recruit verbal reasoning test. There's actually a button at the top right of the web page so that you can magnify the text. This simple solution means that if eyesight is a problem, you can concentrate instead on doing well in the test by enlarging the text size. We want you to be able to shine in all your psychometric assessments. You can also alter the amount of time taken to do a verbal reasoning test. If you have a disability, your Learning Support Officer in liaison with the Careers Unit is entitled to task for this reasonable adjustment on your behalf. You can practice the test on the Legal Recruit website without feeling unduly rushed if you're normally entitled to the additional required time to complete the assessment. Whether adjustments have been made to standard test procedures or not, careful administration can help ensure that the test results for someone with a visual impairment remain valid. A calm and understanding approach on the part of the administrator is important. If test administration times are greatly extended, consider whether breaks are needed to prevent you, the candidate, from being overtired. If further advice is required in interpreting the results, make sure you consult the recruiter from your corporate law firm. They may wish to contact the test publisher or consult with a chartered psychologist with expertise in the relevant disability. We hope you've enjoyed this brief Legal Recruit presentation. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to email us at inquiries@legal-recruit.org. To repeat,